Get rid of your bulky, worn, tatty wallet full of old receipts and gift cards to shops that no longer even exist and pick yourself up the Ridge wallet. The sleek, newfangled, minimalistic wallet that not only gets rid of the pointless crap you don't need to carry around, but with its titanium, carbon fibre or aluminium durable design, if you're like me, it will take you no time at all to absolutely fall in love with a wallet like this. Get your Ridge wallet by going to ridge.com/SGR and using code SGR for 10% off with free worldwide shipping. I've never played a Pokemon game. Well, actually, that's a lie. I completed Pokemon Snap, played Pokemon Rush, and for like a week played quite a lot of Pokemon Go. But proper Pokemon games? No, they've just never grabbed my attention. I'm more of an arcade-like gamer, and although I do plan to play Pokemon one day, leave a comment below on what game you think I should start with, I do understand Pokemon, obviously know what Pokemon is all about, but it's just not for me. However, with all that said, one thing I do love is the history of video games, and it's literally impossible to talk about the history of gaming without this cute little face popping up constantly. And that's fine, but hey, at least you know that this list of Pokemon facts isn't gonna be filled up with the origin name of this Pokemon or hidden content found on a certain cartridge. No. Right now, those sort of things just don't interest me. For me, someone that's not played a proper game in the series, the sort of stuff that interests me is the really, really weird stuff that you don't need to be a fan to understand. And guys, the more I look into this, the crazier it gets. So please make sure you subscribe and maybe leave a comment below on some of the ones that I've left out in this video, because I may make a follow-up to this one. But for now, let's get right to it. Hi everyone, I'm Daniel Wibberton, aka DJ Slope from Slope's Game Room, and this is 6 disturbing Pokemon facts. Oh yeah, and quick word of warning, please don't be offended by anything in this video. If you are easily offended, you might not want to watch. Did you know that in Saudi Arabia quite a lot of things are banned, or at least at one point were banned? For example, red roses on Valentine's Day, women drivers, Harry Potter, and doing this. I'm so cool. But for this video, the one banned thing worth talking about was, well, it was obviously Pokemon, wasn't it? Now, I'm not talking about the video game, that in fact was actually distributed very early on within the Arab world. However, the card game and TV show didn't truly hit Saudi Arabian shores until the late 2000s, and shortly after, the highest religious authority in the land issued a fatwa, quite literally a non-binding legal opinion of Islamic law, to ban Pokemon completely. This ban was then quickly adapted by lots of other highly ranked religious individuals in Egypt, and before you know it, Pokemon was gone. Not just the show, card game, merch and soft toys, but also the games too. This was due to higher-ups believing that it was a form of gambling and that it helped promote Zionism, the nationalist movement to create a homeland for the Jewish people in the land of Israel, in case you didn't know. But reports suggested that this ban didn't actually last all that long. Not for the original gamers at least, and they soon found their way back onto shelves, but sadly, due to the disappearance of the show, merch, and most notably that card game, which was obviously the biggest offender, it sold quite badly originally. That was until the last few years, when a resurgence of interest emerged and local dealerships finally started importing the trading card game once again in the mid to early noughties. Now guys, at the beginning of this video, I did ask for you guys not to take offense to anything you find in this video. This segment in particular. Yes, whilst that's fresh in your mind, take a look at this Pokemon card. Yes, this is a real card that was sold obviously in Japan, and that is not what it looks like. But I'm not blaming you for thinking otherwise. You see, in Japan, this symbol can be found quite frequently in Buddhist temples, maps, and during 2006 was actually the most frequently used slang word and symbol by teenage girls, bringing new meaning to what it actually represents. But as a Westerner, it does feel odd to show so many of these symbols in one of my videos. But please understand, in this video it's not a bad thing. These symbols are literally etched into the history of Japan, as well as plenty of other cultures around the world too. And although it can mean quite a few things, it's simply a symbol of positivity, peace, love, worship, all of those good things. As stated, young Chinese girls have gone crazy adding this design into everything that's kawaii and turned it into essentially the Japanese version of that weird S-shaped thing that we all know how to draw. However, it just so happens that a mirrored version of the same symbol was used during World War II, which is what it's known as today by the Western world. Just not in Japan. Now, having a symbol of worship in one part of the world and using pretty much the same symbol for, well, one of the very worst events in history is a tough one to tackle for Japan. And as stated, these signs of goodwill are literally etched into some Buddhist temples, so it's not like Japan can simply wipe it from existence without wiping out parts of its own history. And this topic has reared its ugly head several times, with some people claiming that Westerners should just learn to understand its meaning, whilst others think it should change so that it doesn't upset people and potentially lose tourism. And one of the most recent examples of this is the upcoming 2020 Olympics being held in Tokyo, where they've actually gone to the trouble of changing this symbol to the more obvious looking temple logo on maps. Still, watch this space. My guess is that when that event does draw nearer, there'll be plenty of crazy and scared tourists. Now, with all of that out the way, this card is obviously not meant to be offensive. Of course it's not, it's a Pokemon card. But still, it gained quite a lot of backlash. Understandably, I suppose, from upset parents and members of the Jewish community, which resulted in a slight redesign for the majority of the world that knew no better. And guys, I wish that was the last example of this sort of thing, because in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, this little fella also got changed for Western worlds. Yep, as did this particular scene from the cartoon. Yeah. Let's move on rather quickly, shall we? In 1997, Pokemon wasn't just big, it was huge, pretty much the height of its popularity. And if you're like me, you will remember just how crazy Pokemon was back in its heyday. But let me tell you something, it was nothing compared to how big it was in Japan. According to reports, because honestly I've never been to Japan, especially in 1997, Pokemon was astronomically massive back then, not just with the games, the cards, or the endless amounts of toys and plushies, but probably most important was the TV show. Now, to get even more specific, on December 16th, 1997 at 6:40 PM, the popular TV show was airing on Japanese televisions, and the premiere of episode Electric Soldier Porygon was being shown for the first and only time. In the episode, the typical crew gets sucked inside a computer where they meet this little fella, that's Porygon, and some random story happens where the computer virus protecting the software is attacking them, and Pikachu ends up electrocuting these missiles, which obviously causes quite an explosion. But it was a very specific type of explosion, however. This explosion that showed up on the screen constantly flashed between blue, red, and white. This very unique and extremely fast flashing of colours was seen by over 4 million children, who were no doubt so excited with the episode that their noses were literally inches from the screen. And out of the 4 million plus people that did watch it, 685 of them, that's 310 boys and 375 girls, ended up having epileptic seizures and going to hospital. Now, to be fair, most were let out fairly quickly, however some kids ended up staying in hospital for quite some time, claiming that the frantic seizure was giving constant headaches, blurred vision, or worse, complete blackouts. Now, obviously, you guys are seeing a lot of stills in this particular video, and there's a reason for that. I'm obviously not going to show you the clip, am I? It's called the Pokemon Shock. If you really do want to push it, then maybe you can go and find it yourself. I have seen it. I don't suffer with any kind of epilepsy or anything like that, so it didn't have an effect on me. But what I will say, it was incredibly uncomfortable to watch. Anyway, after this tragic event, as you would expect, Pokemon became toxic for all kids. News outlets took this, let's be honest, very serious, but probably very honest mistake and ran with it. And the show was instantly pulled from the air. And the next time it was aired, this message was shown. To all our viewers, we are sincerely and deeply sorry for the high numerous reported cases of adverse physical effects suffered among those who watched last week's Pocket Monsters. The show continued to stay off the air for a further 4 months until this dropped.
テレビの前のみんな、こんばんは。今日からアニメポケットモンスターの放送がまた始まることになりました。でもその前にちょっとお姉さんの大切な話を聞いてください。大人の方もご一緒にお願いします。良い子のみんなはもう知っていると思いますが、去年の12月16日、ポケットモンスターを見て多くのお友達が急に具合が悪くなってしまいました。病院に運ばれた方もいました。まずその方々と関係者の皆さんに改めてお詫びを申し上げます。テレビを見ていてこれほどのことが起きたのは世界でも初めてでした。楽しみにしているみんなにはちょっとがっかりさせてしまいましたが、私たちはどうしてこんなことが起きたのか分かるまでしばらく番組をお休みすることにしました。すぐに調査のチームを作って専門家の先生にお話を伺いながら原因や安心して見られるアニメの作り方について研究することにしたんです。こういった研究はテレビ局はもちろん国やお医者さんの間でも進められました。調査で分かったことは、赤と青の画面が1秒間に24回ものものすごい速さで切り替わっていく部分があって、それが主な原因だということでした。つまり赤と青がこんな風にものすごい速さで入れ替わっていたんですね。最初は特別に強い光が出ていたんではとか、何か危険な絵が入っていたんではなどと言われていましたが、そういったことではありません。またしましまや渦巻きなどの模様や赤い色の使い方にも注意しなければいけないことが分かりました。ですから私たちはこれから放送するポケットモンスターはもちろん、他のアニメも十分に気をつけて作っています。
Yep, the world of animation and TV in Japan was never the same, thanks to the infamous Pokemon Shock and the episode Electric Soldier Porygon. That was never ever aired again. This is a Defense Intelligence reference document from the US military. It's a declassified document from the Army's National Ground Intelligence Center. Now apparently, according to the Wired article where I found all of this information, what you're looking at is types of weapons that would be using electromagnetic pulses. Apparently these pulses could cause a disruption of voluntary muscle control, which, let's be honest, doesn't sound all that nice, does it? There's plenty more in here than anyone with a sick twisted mind would get a kick out of, especially the desired weapons section that goes deeper into detail about these electromagnetic pulses. One section reads, application of electromagnetic pulses is also a conceptual, non-lethal technology that uses electromagnetic energy to induce neural synchrony and disruption of voluntary muscle control. Again, I'm not going to try and pretend I understand what all of this is about. All I do know is it doesn't sound very nice, does it? I mean, who the hell comes up with this stuff? Who the heck thinks up this sort of stuff? Who the hell researches this sort of stuff? Well, allow me to continue. It is thought that by using a method that could actually trigger nerve synapses directly with an electrical field, essentially 100% of individuals would be susceptible to seizure induction. The photic-induced seizure phenomenon was born out of demonstrably on December 16th, 1997 on Japanese televisions when hundreds of viewers of a popular cartoon show were treated inadvertently to photic seizure induction. And there you have it. Was this weird desired weapon ever actually developed? No. But what I do know is that this new non-lethal desired weapon was indeed experimented with and partially tested. However, it wasn't actually developed. Regardless, it wouldn't have been thought about if it wasn't for a fight between a Pikachu and a Porygon. Along with Cooking Mama, Mama Kills Animals, Super Tanuki Skin 2D, and Super Tofu Boy, Peta, aka People for the Ethnic Treatment of Animals, created a flash game in an attempt to attack Pokemon. Yep, parodying Pokemon's black and white games, they put up Pokemon Black and Blue. Gotta free 'em all. As battling Pokemon grew in popularity, generations of children were growing up believing that Pokemon exists for no other reason than to be used and abused by humans. Children learned about dominance instead of compassion, while Pokemon faced the worst abuses. Children also started bullying each other, until one Pokemon decided he'd had enough. So basically, because you capture Pokemon, train them, cage them and fight them, Peta saw Pokemon as essentially cartoonified cockfights. Now, to be fair, that previous sentence alone is enough to really, upset quite a few people. You literally do train, cage and fight these Pokemon. So I can see where they're coming from, but me, even someone like me that doesn't really enjoy Pokemon that much, I understand there's so much more to Pokemon than literally training, fighting them and caging them. And this game that was designed to be played by kids obviously ended up being a joke instantly, because those kids understand Pokemon way more than the average parent that knew no better. Still, this didn't stop Peta from releasing this, and even though Nintendo did respond with "Nintendo and the Pokemon Company take the inappropriate use of our products and intellectual properties seriously," nothing got done. Can you imagine if Nintendo tried to sue a charity? Obviously they didn't. And this resulted in another game, Pokemon Red, White and Blue. This time not only taking a stab at the fact that Nintendo essentially released the same game twice, which they do, that they release pretty much the same type of game every few years, which they do, but also taking a stab at McDonald's too, as the partnership between the companies came about to promote the latest Pokemon game. Yeah, it's essentially the same game again, but with added McDonald characters too. Look, I see what they're trying to do, but honestly this is just stupid. They may have made a quick splash in the headlines, but the overall outcome is being included in videos like this, and making Peta a charity that should be taken very seriously actually end up becoming a bit of a joke. Now, I'm not really sure what route to take this particular segment down. It's a pretty crazy one. So I'm just going to give you two numbers, 18 and 60. Why? Because there has been 60 injuries regarding Pokemon Go and 18 deaths, making Pokemon Go probably the most dangerous video game ever created. It's a crazy world we live in, where people get shot playing Pokemon Go at night, people get run over by drivers who are playing Pokemon Go, and people are actually breaking into houses to get rare Pokemon and then being murdered for doing so. Seriously guys, the list of weird deaths and injuries coming from this game, definitely in its heyday, is astonishing. They're just virtual pets, people. Stop putting yourself in danger to go and get them. Also, perhaps you shouldn't go here either. Also, whilst we're on the subject of Pokemon Go, seriously, this whole video could be filled up with Pokemon Go segments. Ever heard of the Tumblr Pokepeen? No? Well, unlucky for you, because I'm about to destroy your childhood. Yes, I've had to censor this thing. It's ridiculous. Because it's essentially Pokemon Go dick pics. Yep, this was a thing that became so popular that people were obsessed with submitting Pokemon characters in the augmented reality sections of Pokemon Go next to or on their junk. It's super effective. Anyway guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And as a little special treat, I'm going to leave you guys with Stuart Ashins, who's going to do a fantastic reading of the main theme tune from the Triple X porn parody, Strokemon. You're welcome.
I train to be the very best. I've touched so many balls. I've got to take an STI test. I've probably caught them all. I've stroked it hard across the land, and they always come for more. Each Strokemon has felt my grip, and now my hand is sore. Strokemon, gotta bang them all. It's just me and you keep my balls from going blue. Strokemon, my best friend with benefits, and I love your pokets. Strokemon, gotta bang them all. We're a stroking team, my courage will make you cream. It's your wet dream. Strokemon, gotta bang them all. Gotta bang them all.
Hey there guys, thanks for checking out the video. Firstly, I want to give a massive big shout out to this video's sponsor, Ridge. Honestly guys, I've been using this wallet now for a little bit over a week and I am now obsessed with it. I don't think I'll ever be able to go back to my old style of wallet. Yes, I really do like this. And if you want to get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping, you can by going to ridge.com/SGR, that's ridge.com/SGR, and use code SGR. Link will be in the description and all of that jazz. Yeah, please do help out the sponsor who's been kind enough to support me. But anyway guys, let's get over to those awesome Patreons. With an extra big shout out going to Gary Pinkett, that retro video gamer, Mantis, Ryan Burford, Andrew Dalton, Ben Jackson, Jonathan Hayward, Christopher Turnbull, Phil Lowlins, Tom Grabowski, Retro to Next Gen, Hawk89, Dina Robertson Dunn, Lefty Intrigued Gaming, Abby Morris, Tim Labonte, Asobi Quang DX, Tim Lunn, Hananas, Pixels.Limited, aka Samuel Victor, Red the Beard, Conrad Constantine, Pretendo64, Creamy Elephant, Casey Garner, Blitz, Hedgy, Kinglink Reviews, Gemma Mr. T's Shirts, Wobbles and Bean, The Wonder Ducks, Ye Old Hamburglar, Wright, Dan Petit, Mike H. Fell, Lucas Softail, Gregory Arden, Ronnie Method, SSWB, Solex Captor, Jeremy Rodriguez, Nick Ballard, Bram Perez, Marcus King McCut Tyndall, June the Geeky Dad, Richard Carter, aka Fantastic Dizzy, Todd Paul Float G, and of course Petty Mew. If you guys want to get your name shown, come see what I'm working on and all of that usual stuff, then please click the links that you see on the screen. Don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, a thumbs down, whatever you prefer. But for now, this is DJ Slope signing out, and hopefully I'll see you all next time.